I'm surprised that
Anybody can be gross.
someone
Mental
that
incons
beautiful would go with Mr. Horrible, only speaks in cliches.
Molly, she's on cocaine all day.
That is such a good point. Oh my god, that explains everything.
Hello, welcome to another episode of A Ghost in the Magazine. I'm Steph.
And I'm Elle.
I'm Molly.
And we're covering X. So this is mine and Elle's first time seeing this movie. And normally I like to be like pouncing on new movies. I like to be like, right in there. But I'm kind of glad that I didn't watch this with everybody else. And I managed to escape like spoilers, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want to know anything about this before you go into it, and you need to be completely blind for full shock value.
Uh-huh. I have so many comments. I have so many comments, but I want to start with I think I did know that they were filming a porno.
Mm.
So it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre makes a porno. I feel that's definitely the vibe.
Yeah, there's a lot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre influences, like even when they were in the shop at the beginning, and you could just see it in the farmhouse and everything was just very similar. I think I read somewhere that the director was actually doing a homage to it, to Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Good.
but I can't remember exactly where I read that, so it might be completely made up in my own head.
I do it all the time. So maybe I read this, maybe I just made it up, but I have a very vivid imagination. But it makes sense, and I'm really glad that we picked this movie because we covered Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This was an accident. This wasn't planned. This wasn't planned. It was just like on our TBW, and we're knocking it out. But like, this might be like one of my new like favorites. Honestly, this movie, it okay, but parts of it like really messed me up, and I like applaud that because woo, the way I was not expecting some of these things. First of all, not to be a pervert at all. I wasn't expecting to see Brittany Snow's boobies because in my mind, she's like wholesome.
She still managed to be wholesome in this movie, though, even though she did have her boobs out.
Yeah.
She was the nicest person in it,
Yeah.
kind of.
Well, yeah. I mean, yes. I guess you could say that. Yeah. Um, what is her name? Jenna Ortega's character was just kind of like
Her name was Lorraine.
Lorraine. Yeah, and
Bobby
I
Lorraine and
because of
Maxine.
the captions, Lorraine screaming. So, the premise. They are making a porn. I don't know the history of pornography, but the way they're talking about it, it's like revolutionary for them to be filming a dirty movie. And I feel like dirty movies have been around since like the dawn of time, since they were like,
I think maybe it was more revolutionary that they were kind of doing it on a very kind of like low budget by themselves. I don't know.
independent.
Yeah, maybe it was just like
Yeah,
the independence of the crew.
I think that is what they were going for because the cameraman makes, oh my god, he does not shut up about the fact that he's making this
It's like
revolutionary movie. I was like, it's tits.
Yeah.
and that's what his girlfriend said. And he's like, no, but it's different. It's different until your girlfriend wants to be in the movie.
I got so mad.
Well, yeah, because double standard much.
If Jenna Ortega wants to get her boobs out, she should be allowed to. Can't stop her, RJ. Cameraman.
Cameraman who was giving Eric from Evil Dead 2013.
Oh, he was. Yikes.
They're literally twins.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both like douchey. So, yeah. So they're filming a porno and it's going to make Maxine a star. Maxine who snorts coke through this entire movie, which it makes her being the final girl so much more awesome because she was high as shit the entire time, and she made it out. Okay, love
That's
that.
how
For
she
her.
made it out.
Yeah.
She was just fueled.
You got
Everyone else was flagging, getting tired. She wasn't.
right. You don't have to do drugs to survive a horror movie, but it probably, if you're gonna do one, choose cocaine. Is
I want that on a t-shirt.
I mean, I was just thinking about strangers. Choose cocaine. Okay. So they're making a porno. They need a low budget place. They somehow find this raggedy house out in the middle of nowhere that has another house, so it's a property, and an old man who's literally 110. Okay, almost shotguns the guy. And then yeah, he doesn't like them, but he lets them stay because they give him more money. So they're filming this porn. And yeah, that's the premise. So this old lady is so horny. And that's the reason why all of this happens, because she's unbelievably horny. Like, that's it. What a motive.
I did throughout the entire thing, I'm not kidding, go, for fuck's sake, buy a vibrator.
Me too.
Right.
Literally, her husband should have, I mean, learn how to work the, I said learn how to work the internet. There were dildos and things, okay?
There's been
And
dildos since the 1800s.
so,
Dildos
like,
exist.
get a variety, get a collection, okay?
Use your mouth. If you can't fuck her, use your mouth. Jesus, do something. Like,
Anything. Because if she's horny enough to do murders, like, you have a problem, Grandpa.
right.
They would live out in the middle of nowhere. They could actually have a display case of sex toys and no one would ever know.
They could have a butt plug shelf, just like in
could have a
that
butt plug
Italian
too.
movie.
They could have it backlit. They could have it fucking glass screen. They could have done anything instead of this.
Literally, all he had to do was squeeze her titty and tell her she was pretty. That's all she was. That's the minimum she was asking for, and he's like, my heart can't take it, Earl.
God damn it, man! Fuck your wife.
Literally, just stick something in there. Sorry, Mom, but like, for the love of God, just stick something. She's murdering.
Yeah.
Okay, she scared the shit out of me.
But also we had the same thing as Texas Chainsaw, where like how this lady, the main character Maxine, meets this old bitch. She just walks into her house. The door's open. She just walks in.
Well, to be fair though, she did get a very creepy invitation.
Yes.
Okay? So
Nothing would have made me take that invitation.
No.
Anything in this world. And but I mean, Maxine has zero fear because this bitch, she skinny dips in a body of water. And I immediately, because I'm a Floridian, said, bitch, there's gators in that water. And I was like, oh wait, she's not in Florida. She's in Texas. Bitch, there's gators in that water.
I immediately went to leeches.
Yeah.
I'll take leeches over gators.
I take neither. Like,
If I had to choose,
If I can choose neither, I'll take neither as well.
Did you see that death roll? That's the scariest thing about an alligator, okay? It will clamp on you and then roll, snap you like a glow stick, and then eat you.
yeah.
There's no escaping that. Okay.
Also, her eyeshadow managed to stay immaculate during that.
What were they using for like setting powder back in the day?
I don't know, but that was some vibrant eyeshadow that stayed consistently very bright and beautiful the entire way through. And normally I'd say that's a movie error, but I believe that Maxine is that powerful.
She will not accept a life she doesn't deserve, and that includes her eyeshadow smudging.
That affirmation that she kept repeating throughout was so interesting, especially like at the end when you found out that it came from like this fundamentalist Christian thing. And this whole movie, like the old woman's problems, they're like needing to go off the grid to make this movie was all caused by this fundamental like Puritan idea that sex is evil. Like,
Yeah.
because otherwise, like, why isn't there a butt plug dungeon in this old people's house? Like, you're free. The only reason you wouldn't do it is because you have like this idea that sex is bad.
I mean, you could argue that there was a naked guy in the basement, so kind of
Dude.
sex dungeon, but like a really, really bad one.
He did not have her consent. He did
It was
not
not
have her
safe,
consent.
sane, and consensual.
No, he did not have it. No. This movie was so funny to me. It was so funny. And I was watching it like under the covers at night, like with my iPad, like giggling at parts I know I wasn't supposed to laugh about. This movie is so entertaining. It is so good. I do get really awkward with like, I mean, if I'm by myself, whatever, but like, even though Freddie's like my boyfriend or whatever, if other people are around, I'm gonna lower the volume at the fake sex scenes. I'm going to do it. I can't let other people like know that these like crazy moans and stuff are coming from what I'm watching. Like, don't listen. Don't listen. It's not, it's for the podcast.
I laughed so hard when every single time the old lady was done killing someone and then just would like toddle off, just like
Yeah,
walk
she
really
was a
slowly.
million. Okay, she was a million years old and she was a rapist on top of it. Okay, she was a rapist, like an old lady rapist. Something about that just really terrifies me. She was gummy. She was nasty. I bet her breath stink
It takes a lot of dedication at that age,
to be a
and
rapist.
that makes it so much worse.
I can't breathe thinking about it. She literally, from like the first second, I was like, she's gonna rape somebody. When Maxine is in her house and she's working the side boob in the overalls, but that's her prerogative, and she like touches her with a nasty old lady finger. Keep your hands to yourself, girl.
Ugh.
Keep your arthritis. I almost said emphysema hands. Seriously.
Jesus, Steph.
I'm sorry. She's nasty. And it's
Yeah.
not like I'm sitting here saying that old people are nasty. I'm gonna be old one day. But I'm gonna keep my old hands to myself.
I'm gonna
Old
keep my
rapists.
hands to myself regardless. Like
Like,
it's just like, yeah, and I think that there's a lot about like just how they played into how decrepit she is on purpose to kind of gross us out a little bit.
Yeah.
But
You know that's Mia Goth in a bunch of makeup.
what?
Yeah,
I'm pretty
it
sure
is.
that's Mia Goth in a bunch of makeup.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and she's like raping herself. And I think, yeah, because there's another. So the second movie is Pearl, which none of us have seen yet. We're gonna have to reconvene, the three of us, after
Yeah.
we watch it. And then Maxine is coming out. So I feel like maybe this is just like the old unsatisfied version of herself.
Mm,
Okay, who did accept the life she didn't deserve.
yeah.
It kind of is because Mia Goth also plays Pearl in Pearl. So like the
See?
whole thing is because the old man Howard stops and stares at Maxine because she looks so much like his wife when she
I
was
didn't think
younger.
about that. And yeah,
But
and Wayne was like, "Oh, stop looking at my woman."
I can't get over the fact that he left his wife for Maxine as well. I was going, you are 40, sir.
I believe it. Nothing about that surprises me. 40-year-old men can be gross.
I'm surprised that
Anybody can be gross.
someone that
Metabolic
beautiful would go with Mr. Horrible, only speaks in cliches.
Molly, she's on cocaine all day.
That is such a good point. Oh my god, that explains everything.
That is what's going to get you to settle for less than your worth, is like
And he's probably
having
buying
your
it for her.
perception fucked up and like fucking mediocre men. That
Right. He supply the cocaine. I bet money, he buys it, she takes it. Everything looks better when you're on cocaine. Allegedly. I don't know that from experience, but I've heard good things and bad things. Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
We're not.
Don't do drugs, you will end up with a 40-year-old man.
Yes.
Who left his wife for you? Is that really what you want? Is that where you want to be when Jesus comes back? Is that what they say on Judgment? Let's talk about the scenes that messed me up, okay?
Okay.
Old people making out and then boning.
Ugh.
I already am awkward when hot people are boning, okay? You make it old and things just get really freaking weird. and I was cringing. Okay. Yeah, that was too much for me. And also though when he smashes Jenna Ortega's hands with the hammer and her little bone was popping out. And I'm not squeamish, but her little bone, she's so tiny. But then that being said, I laughed uncontrollably when Maxine was trying to save Lorraine. And she's like, I hate you. And she ran out and got immediately shotgunned. Immediately shotgunned her little body. Flew. And there was so much shotgunning at the end because when the old lady, like, of course, Howard had a heart attack because he's 120. So in the middle of this curve level, he's having a heart attack. Super funny. I'm sorry. But he was murdering too, so I can laugh.
I don't feel bad.
Girl goes to shoot Maxine and blows herself off the porch because she's 110.
Yeah.
My
Sounds
hip, my hip, bitch.
It was her hip after all. Like, he was concerned about that too, probably because she's horny as fuck. You're liable to break a hip when you're horny as fuck at 100.
You know what wouldn't have broken your hip? A vibrator.
True.
A vibrator would never do that to you.
It was so funny when she was like, my hip, because the first thing that popped in my head was, I've fallen and I can't get up.
Yeah.
Also, this guy in his like magically huge dong. Hilarious. The shadow of him talking to the old man and the thing is just swinging between his legs. And I was like, okay. This is funny.
Mm-hmm.
It is gruesome, but like, it's so good.
I find it really funny that at the very start of the movie, Maxine, because the cow, one of the opening scenes is that the cow,
Oh, that was gross.
and that it's like all of its guts are coming out, and she goes, "Oh, I hate blood and guts," and then she actively is like, "Okay," she goes from that to, "All right, time to murder some old people."
Gotta do what you
And
gotta
that
do.
is, and that is the power of fucking with a bitch you should not be fucked with.
Mm-hmm.
That's the power of blue eyeshadow, ladies.
That is character
Cannot pull
development.
it off with blue eyes.
Oh, maybe you just need the right shade of blue, like a dark midnight blue, almost black
Maybe.
blue.
Again, it's a slasher. This is not like typically what I like to watch, but I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it at all. I would like it if there was more like supernatural elements to it, or if there was more story. Actually, I feel like it kind of did a decent job on the story,
Yeah,
part of
I think
it.
so.
Especially because it like linked back to a lot of unanswered things, which I guess is because there was more films coming, which I enjoy that.
But I also like that you can still watch it by itself,
Mhm.
because you don't need to watch those other movies to understand anything, because it does a decent job of alluding to them rather than just relying on them.
Yeah.
It's not like a full moon movie that takes in clips of multiple movies to make a movie.
We know that that's their bag. We excuse them for it,
Yes.
but only full moon will we tolerate that from.
Well, another thing is like this crew was looking to make like a high art version of a porno. And I
Yeah.
feel like this is kind of like a more artfully done horror movie. So it's a little bit of a meta like thing there. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm into it.
I laughed so hard at the beginning because they were talking about how they're going to make this such a high sophisticated like horror, like porno, and then when he's filling up the car, and then Bobby Lynn just goes like, if you do it from a certain angle, it looks like he's using his dick.
Yes, that was
And I was like,
great.
art.
I think it's important that everybody was passionate. So passionate that they got Lorraine in her little like teenager underpants to be in a pornography. When she was like, RJ, it's smut. I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Not enough to be in a dirty movie, but enough to watch this movie again.
Oh, and I like at the end that they pick up the camera and I'm like, oh my god, what's gonna be on this? And I'm like, they're gonna be real shocked.
They're gonna like it. I think that's cool. Do we rate her?
We should. I'd give this 3.5.
I give it a 4, I think.
I'm giving it a 4.5. Sorry.
It's okay.
I mean,
I think so. For me, this is a genre I don't like.
Yeah.
But it's a movie that I like in that genre. So it's elevated above like what my median would be, but it's still not typically the type of movie I would seek out myself. I'm not mad about it. I liked it, but not the type of movie I would seek out myself.
I took a point down because I had to listen to old people have sex.
That's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
point.
You're right. I give it a 4.
Yes.
I had to see old man butt thrusting.
Oh God, I forgot about that. I struck that from my memory until you said that stuff.
You're welcome.
I watched it twice.
Like, now that I'm really thinking about it, I think that's one of the worst things that they put in horror movies. Like that old lady in the bathtub in The Shining. Like, get her away from me. I don't know if that says anything about like me being afraid to get old, but I think I'm gonna be a bitchin' old lady. I don't ever think that you're gonna find me haunting or molesting strangers. So
Well, I'll have a
There-
vibrator, so I'll already be a step above this woman.
there you go. Like,
you
you don't need to do murders. You don't. You just really don't have to do that. I can't believe how horny she was.
especially because okay, I'm a problem when I'm ovulating. Okay,
It's
this
nature.
is this is something that Steph knows. She had to try to keep me in line when I was ovulating around a man that I've had a crush on for almost 5 years. So she knows that's my problem. This bitch is menopause.
Yeah,
Like, what is your excuse, girl?
her ovaries are mothballs. That's not a how are you 110? But I don't feel bad. She is a murderer. No. No.
Throw her in the bin.
Just couldn't
Put her
be
in a
me. Just couldn't be me. Like,
No.
I don't have the energy to be horny if I don't have my ovaries dragging me along by my hair. Okay, I don't have the energy otherwise.
Nobody does. Not without like help. You know what I mean? Like,
Right?
like what about? I mean, Mia Goth is pretty, and like side boobs are cute, but like enough to like grab her and get in her bed and like rub blood all
Oh, I
over.
forgot about the bed.
I love when she's screaming, "That old lady was in my bed and touching me!" No, nightmare, a nightmare.
And then instantly does as much drugs as she can to forget it.
Yes,
Valid.
and then Brittany Snow comes out because she hears her screaming, and this naked old lady is just shuffling out of the house. Gotta
And
get
then
away.
she proceeds to try and help her, and then gets eaten with a by a gator.
Oh, that was another thing that really made me laugh. Okay, when she tried to help her, she's like, "My nana gets confused." Right? She's so sweet, sweet as pie, and this lady's like, "Fuck you! Like, why do you get to have it all?" And she's like, "Whatever then." And then she's like, "Move, you mean old bitch!" And she pushes her. I mean, just push. What are you doing, standing so close to the edge? I don't trust old people. I don't trust you. Sorry. I don't trust you just because you're old. I should say that. Stranger, danger. You don't know this old lady, okay?
I don't trust old people anymore.
Any final thoughts?
Don't be silly, buy a vibrator.
That's the moral of the story, kids. If this is not like a really psychotic safe sex ad, I don't know what is.
Honestly, between these movies and the books that we're reading, I'm like,
Mm.
I don't even want to think about sex anymore. Like, I think I'm done. I think I'm good. Like,
We've made some doozers of choices, so that's on us. Yeah. Watch at your own risk. And in the meantime, you can find us on the interweb at ghostinthemagazine.site. You can find us on Instagram at GITM Podcast. You can find me on Instagram at Steph Spector.
and you can find me on Instagram at Nocturnical.
You can find me on Twitter at nighttime_tea.
Okay, bye.